Well, we shall leave it to the court to decide. Now, you read Friedel's report, T293, didn't you?
Das ist die Sache in Bialystok.
This is the chapter about Bialystok, is it not?
Bialystok, yes. Now you remember that Friedel says that the instructions to liquidate the ghetto had come straight from 4B4. You remember that?
Das entsinne ich mich nicht, aber Bialystok war im Reich gelegen, also in den eingegliederten Ostgebieten gelegen, so viel ich weiß,
territory of the east to the
für
Reich.
sämtliche eingegliederten Ostgebiete,
And in
da
such
hatte
areas
Himmler
annexed
den Deportationsbefehl
in the east, there were orders for deportations, and for before, my office had to implement and carry out deportations.
שטחי המזרח שסופחו לרייך עד כמה שידוע לי, ובקשר לכל שטחי המזרח המסופחים האלה יצא צו הגירוש מלפני הימלר, ועל המחלקה 4ב4 היה לטפל ולעבד ולהכין את הביצוע.
הגירוש היה לאושוויץ.
And these people were being deported to Auschwitz.
Das
Right.
weiß ich im Augenblick nicht, aber die Zielstation, die befohlen wurde, ist selbstverständlich fahrplanmäßig entsprechend eingebaut worden.
Destination was always given in the
אבל כמובן
instructions.
שתחנת היעד אשר צווה עליה הוכנסה לפי הפקודה לתוך לוח ההיסעים.
And this was
עכשיו,
included
בית
in the
המשפט
schedule
רוצה
charts.
שתנסה לזהות
Now the court would like you to identify those areas annexed to the Reich
בתקופות השונות של הכיבושים. האם תוכל לעשות זאת?
during the various stages of the occupation. Can you proceed with that kind of identification?
Das weiß ich nicht im Detail, ist mir das längst entfallen. Ich weiß bloß, die Karte kann ich von hier aus nicht betrachten. Kann ich da mal einen Schritt ranmachen, bitte?
הפרטים אינם זכורים לי
I do
עוד.
not remember the details. I cannot see the map from where I stand. May I take a few steps towards the map, please?
צלמו את זה עכשיו. צלם.
Soviel ich auf der Karte von hier aus entnehmen kann, sind die neu eingegliederten Ostgebiete folgende.
עד כמה שאני יכול ללמוד
As
כאן
I
המפה,
can see on the map, these are the territories, the eastern territories annexed to the Reich later.
Hier ist die alte Reichsgrenze.
זהו
These
גבול
are the borders of the old Reich.
מלפנים.
Dieser Teil ist neu eingegliedert worden.
החלק הזה סופח לאחרונה.
This was annexed later to Germany, as well as this part,
וכן גדנסק.
and Gdansk later. The accused with a cane in his hand explains to the court, pointing at the map and explaining at the same time. Yes, these, in my opinion, are the territories annexed to the Reich, and in these areas, according to orders, the nationalization was carried out and implemented.
Mr. Hausner, what about Bialystok? What about the Bialystok area?
The Bialystok, I cannot read it from here on the map. I believe this is somewhere here, but I cannot find it on the map. Had someone pointed out to me on the map, Mr. Hausner is approaching the map. Accused and the Attorney General. And the accused confirms, yes, this is Bialystok.
President of Court. Mr. Hausner, Bialystok was first occupied by the Soviet Union. It was one of the areas which, according to the 1939 demarcation line, was annexed to the Soviet Union. But after the war, Germany started the war against Russia, Bialystok was occupied and then annexed to the Reich. We have two publications here which clarify this exactly and give the maps about the territorial changes which occurred in Germany during the Second World War, in the East as well as in the West and the North. And possibly these publications, I shall give the exact reference, may be of aid to the court on this question. President of Court, did Dr. Servatius see these publications? Mr. Hausner, no, but it is a university publication.
Dr. Servatius, I would like to look through this publication.
President of Court, I suppose this is the best source for that. Mr. Hausner, yes, I believe so. President of Court, this publication will be marked as Exhibit T1426 and T1427. President of Court, that is to say, after the war against Russia began, Bialystok had been annexed to the Reich. Mr. Hausner, yes, precisely. I think the court will find it here on this page. Mr. Hausner. According to document T278, we see that the political department in the concentration camps was transferred to the jurisdiction of the Head Office of Economy and Administration only as late as May 1942. The accused has seen this document, haven't you? And it says here furthermore that with regard to taking prisoners in or out authority remains with the head office of Reich Security as before, without any change.
Ich habe keine Übersetzung bekommen.
Interpreter's comment, there's a little hitch. The accused cannot hear the translation over the earphones.
אני רוצה שם לראות מה... זה בסדר עכשיו? עוד לא? מה קרה?
President of court to the head technician. Is it all right now? No, not yet. Well, what happened?
מה קרה? כן? מה? נו. תצטרך להתאמץ, מר רוזן. כן, אדוני יחזור על השאלה האחרונה בקשר למסך.
President of court, you will repeat your question, your last question. Mr. Hausner, Dr. Servatius rises.
Zu den beiden letzten Bänden, die angeboten worden sind als Beweismittel, nehme ich an, dass nur die geografischen Teile Inhalt des als Beweisstückes sind. Denn hier sind allgemeine rechtliche Ausführungen in großem Umfang auch über die Judenfrage, Rassenverfolgung. Es ist eine eingehende Arbeit auch über die Zuständigkeitsfragen, dass das nicht hier als Beweismittel vorgebracht werden kann. Es sei denn, dass mir diese Dokumente zum Studium überlassen werden.
Dr. Servatius, Your Honor, as for these two volumes which were just submitted, I assume that one will admit in evidence only the geographical parts as proof, because these books also include very general dissertations about the persecution of Jews, racial matters, questions of competence and jurisdiction. Obviously, such material cannot be admitted in evidence without giving me a chance of studying it and seeing what it is all about.
Yes, this is the situation. My colleague, Mr. Robinson, who pointed out to these two details and proposes that these be used only for the geographical division of the occupied territories, and the court has requested to study these two chapters only for this matter. President of court. All right, this is recorded in the protocol, in the court record. Correct? Stenographer confirms. President of court, carry on. Mr. Hausner, you will agree with me that according to T1078,
דוקטור סרווציוס, בבקשה, תתרגם.
Kommt die Übersetzung durch?
Ja.
אני יודע מה קרה היום. אולי רק מכאן ולא משם, כן? עכשיו הכל כבר בסדר?
It seems that the simultaneous translation is functioning now. President of Court, we are in the hands of the technicians, and this is not always easy. Is everything in order now? The answer from the technicians is not yet. Now the interpreter is requested to translate into the German Mr. Hausner's last request to the court.
Zum Zweck des Beweises der geografischen oder der grenzlichen Veränderungen dienen.
Jawohl, dann habe ich keinen Einwand.
Dr. Sabatius, I have no objection.
Alleviated, nor lifted, nor introduced.
Who handed down death sentences in Theresienstadt?
Vom Ältesten des Judenrates entnommen, der Befehlshaber der Sicherheitspolizei des SD in Prag. I learned it from the report, the weekly report and the daily report of the Council of the Elders of the Jews in Theresienstadt. According to what the report says, it was the commander of the SD and security police.
Was he competent in this matter? Did he have authority to do that?
Jawohl, wenn ihn das sein höherer SS- und Polizeiführer, der gleichzeitig Staatssekretär für das Sicherheitswesen im Protektorat Böhmen und Mähren war, aufgetragen hat, stimmt, das hat er Zuständigkeit gehabt.
Yes, he had the authority to do so. If this had been in accordance with the instructions of the superior officer of the security police and SD, who was also at the same time Secretary of State for Security in Bohemia and Moravia.
Was there any German law which authorized the senior SS and police officer to delegate such authority to someone else, authority to issue death sentences?
Das weiß ich nicht. Ich weiß nur, dass dort, wo ein Staatssekretär für das Sicherheitswesen war, dass diese Angelegenheiten von dieser Stelle für ihren Geltungsbereich selbst erledigt wurde, ohne Einschaltung des Reichssicherheitshauptamtes.
That I do not know, but I know that wherever there was an office of the Secretary of State for Security of the Reich, this matter was dealt with by the State Secretary for the Reich Security without the intervention of the Reich Security Head Office.
Was there any law authorizing the commander of an extermination camp to murder people?
Ein Gesetz gab es sicherlich nicht, das andere ist mir unbekannt, weil ich ja damit nichts zu tun gehabt habe. Ich weiß nur, dass die Leute sich berufen haben darauf, Führerworte haben Gesetzeskraft, das hieß es um jene Zeit. Ich selber habe diese Sachen weder befohlen, noch habe ich damit zu tun gehabt.
Such law, of course, did not exist. The rest is not known to me because I didn't deal with these matters. I had no share in all this, but I know that those who did it referred to the maxim according to which the words of the Führer have the force of law. This is what those people would say. I didn't have to avail myself of this maxim because I had nothing to do with it.
Was there any law entitling Glombochnik to execute 250,000 or 150,000 Jews in the government general, and then once again the same number and so on? And here you did have a part in this because you brought him these authorizations, which in your words were retroactive. Now, was this done according to any law?
Dafür bezog ich den Befehl, das ist richtig, das habe ich auch zugegeben. Die anderen Gesichtspunkte jedoch, die hatten mich um jene Zeit überhaupt nicht zu interessieren, denn ich wurde ja nicht befasst damit. Das wurde höheren Orts geregelt.
Yes, so far as Global is concerned, I admit that I had an order to transmit the instructions. So far as other incidents were concerned, they were completely outside my ken because I had no share in it, and they were arranged and decided upon on a higher echelon.
Was there any law authorizing you to carry out the mass deportations from the Reich and from the occupied countries?
Das weiß ich nicht. Ich war kein selbstständiger Dienststelleninhaber. Ich habe meine Befehle von meinem unmittelbaren Vorgesetzten bezogen. Diese Befehle habe ich nachkommen müssen.
I do not know. I was not responsible for an independent administrative unit. I had received orders and instructions from my direct superior, and I had to carry them out.
Didn't you try to find out whether these acts were legal or illegal, in accordance with the Reich laws themselves?
Wenn mir mein Amtschef, der Reichskriminalpolizeidirektor und Generalleutnant, den Befehl gab, so hatte er es zu verantworten. Und er wird sich bei seinem Befehlsgeber deshalb schon entsprechend gekümmert haben. Ich selber hatte mich ja nicht darum zu kümmern als Referent, der die Befehle von meinem unmittelbaren Vorgesetzten bezog.
זאת אומרת, לא עניין אותך לדעת אם זה חוקי או בלתי חוקי.
That is to say, you did not try to find out whether it was legal or not? You did not care
Diese
about
Frage
it?
tauchte nicht auf, denn ich bezog die Befehle. Die eindeutige und klare Weisung meines Vorgesetzten.
That's why I'm asking. Did you inquire? Did you try to find out at the time? Yes or no? Did you ever ask your superior, on what basis are we operating here? What legal basis do we have? What authorization? What is the legal foundation for deporting millions of people to the east? Didn't you ever try to find out? Didn't you inquire?
Ich hatte zu gehorchen, ich hatte nur soldatisches Leben gelernt.
שקט.
President of Court, quiet in the hall, please.
שקט.
Absolute
אני
and total
מבקש
silence.
לשתוק. אם זה ברור.
Is that clear?
כשראש משרדי
When the head of my office and my superior, who was head of the criminal police, gave me instructions, and these instructions were conveyed to my office, then it is my superior who incurred full responsibility. It was up to him to find out what was the source of these orders. I was not the one to analyze these orders at all. I was the one who had to carry them out. It was not my duty to take interest in how they originated.
Didn't you try to find out?
This question didn't at all crop up. I had received unequivocal orders. I was not a jurist. I simply had to obey. I had only learned about the soldier's life. I had nothing to do with law and juridical considerations.
Den anderen Dienststellen im Ausland.
With the exception of those periods when he was reassigned to one of the local commanders or to any other service unit abroad.
During one of your visits in Holland, you learned that Reichskommissar intends to remove all Jewish matter from Zepp's hands. Do you remember?
Jawohl, da habe ich ähnliche Dokumente gelesen hier. Ich weiß aber nicht, ob das der Reichskommissar wollte oder eine andere Stelle. Das ist mir im Augenblick nicht gegenwärtig.
Yes, I've read documents about this here. but I do not remember whether it was the Reich's commissioner or any other authority who wanted to do this.
The number is T592. And you objected this?
President of Court, I proposed to you, sir, a few days ago, if there is a document, could you please show it to the accused first, unless there is some special reason. This will advance the proceedings considerably, and then you could discuss the question on the basis of the document.
Sometimes my intention is to pose a question or two before I show the document to the accused.
President of Court, yes, sometimes, but certainly not always.
After all, this is a cross-examination. I know that it takes up a long time, but I can only express my regret.
President of Court, I am sure you will have noticed, sir, that I have not made such remarks before, but we have already discussed Holland and France. Now we come back to it, so I tell myself this cross-examination could go on without any difficulty for many, many days. But after all, I view this development with concern, sir.
Mr. Hausner, I cannot say this about Holland, but I shall finish the western areas quickly. I have odds and ends here and there, but they will be clarified.
President of Court, I think the reason is because this is the nature of your cross-examination, you always have some supplementary details.
Mr. Hausner, I have begun this week, instead of going back to the west, I have gone back to the east. I have a few odds and ends which I did not complete last week.
So
you objected ferociously and regarded this as unimportant. You said that this was senseless.
President of Court, is that 652?
562, Your Honor.
You
demanded the Jewish matters in Holland remain in your hands and jurisdiction.
ראש אחד, ראש אחד. 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8. ראש מספר 2, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, רגע, 7, 8 עכשיו, 7, 7, טוב, ראש מספר 3, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, בחזרה. ראש מספר 4, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7, סוף.